boom. And then I'm going to come over to my Facebook page and I'm going to find my live stream.
All right, me too.
Yeah, see what I have is I have like all these, I have 2 screens. And then on one screen I have like I have us here. And then even on the OBS there's a little screen that shows us. So that's why I could look there. And then I have my comments from I have my comments from my Twitch stream here on my right, and then hopefully it'll kick in on my fucking profile in a minute here, my live stream. And then I got to there we are. And then I'm gonna go ahead and
whoa, what's happening?
Nice. What is that?
I don't know. Twitch.
Is that me or you?
That's me. I'm sorry.
Where's this coming from? What up, everybody coming in right now and everybody watching? We're just kind of squaring ourselves away here, so bear with us for a moment. And
let me figure it out. Hold on. That's me. I'm good. Got it.
Okay, great.
Twitch, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for Twitch.
All right, let me see if I could.
Let me figure it out. I like the Escabros on. I'm good. Got it. Twitch. I don't know who the Facebook or YouTube people are.
I don't really have a lot of Facebook or YouTube people yet. Like I have it's weird is I have more subscribers I think on YouTube and none of them watch my live stream. And then I have
suckers.
And then like when I am doing the podcast, I usually, you know, it fluctuates on Twitch and it fluctuates on Facebook, but that's where most of the viewers come from. And then after I'm done here, I put on the what is it when you broadcasts for
Wait, I don't know. I'm sorry. I was doing something. You're asking a question? Rebroadcasting.
Yeah,
no,
like
I don't
the
know what it is.
Our RSS feed for podcasts. So our podcast can also be found on all where podcasts are found. And then,
right. Those RSS feeds get put out there a lot, dude. They're all over the place.
They're all over the fucking place.
You find out you're on some platform you didn't even know existed.
Right. All right. Let's see here. Let me just make sure I got all my bells and whistles going. And let me just, you know what? I'm gonna if we got a little minute here, I'm gonna.
Yeah, we got a minute.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna try to find our brand new like opening song. Made by
let's do that.
Okay, let me see if I could find it.
Let's see. I'm working on something. Hold on.
Yeah, do your thing real quick as everybody comes in, as we fill the rooms here.
How come I can't turn off this? There it is. All right.
Song.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay, let me see if I can find it.
Hold on. I don't understand why I can't turn off the volume on this thing. Let's see. I gotta working on something. Hold on.
All
right. Whatever. Sorry, world. No, it was on Facebook. I couldn't figure out where the volume was to turn it off on the video.
Okay, check this out. Here's our theme. I'm gonna hold on. I gotta put this
I'll
here.
do it.
And then I'm going to. Oh, this is so ramshackle already, but I love it.
How about this pre-show?
How about this pre-show before the show? And then I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I know what I need to do now. I gotta share with you so you can hear it. Share screen. And then I gotta go to advanced and then music or computer sound only. Yes, share that. And then, all right. Are you ready? Let me wait. Can you do this real quick?
I got that.
Okay,
that's good.
That? Okay, and then let me turn it down just a bit. Let me check my sound levels here. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay, we're ready to start the podcast with the official music now. Made by Mr. Nate Spears, by the way.
Oh, Sam Leninger on Facebook,
Hey!
buddy.
Was that on Facebook? Sammy's the
Yeah.
first guy. Sammy, congratulations, Sammy. He is the first guy to watch me on Twitch and then transition over to my Facebook friend. Now he's watching on Facebook.
Well, he says Sam is locked out of Twitch.
Oh, he's locked out of
He's
Twitch.
Locked out.
Fuck Twitch.
Yeah,
Sammy.
they want you to keep being real.
Yeah, I
keep
love
being
Sammy.
real.
Sammy's
Butch.
one. Hey, Sammy's a soldier. I love Sammy. Damn, Butch, starting late tonight. No, okay, to my Twitch people, because I didn't announce to anybody on Twitch. We're just doing things different. We're gonna see what works and not. I had some issues earlier because I moved. You know what? Let's start the show first, and then we'll go from there. Okay? Are you ready?
Let's do the theme song.
Let's do the theme song. Here we go. Know what you're doing, Butch. Know what you are doing.
Who's that? Who? Nate Spears?
Yeah, that's Nate Spears. That's Nate Spears who made that. Now, I asked a few of the popular musicians in the Bay if I could get some music made for the.
And then you ended up with Nate. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't end up with Nate. Fuck no. Nate was the first one to hit me up and be like, "Hey man, I'm down to do that." And in fact, he offered it for free, but I did pay him. And
nice.
Yeah, he said,
was that a piano?
I said, he goes, "What kind?" He goes, "I've been experimenting with different." And I know Nate always walks up on stage with a ukulele. So, and I love the sound of the ukulele. So I was like, "Hey, like, can you do some of the ukulele stuff for me?" And he was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I've been like," and so I feel like having a cool ukulele sound as the theme song for this is pretty rad. You know what I mean?
Like, that is dope. That's dope, dude.
Because this is a mental health podcast.
Yeah, and it's hard to be. You can't be sad with ukulele,
right? And that's the thing is because the focus on like it is a mental health podcast, but for me, it's from the very beginning, and it started on Twitch. It didn't necessarily start it didn't start on Facebook at all. In fact, I stayed the fuck away from Facebook because I found, and this is what I want to talk about tonight, if you're okay with it.
Yeah. You have a record at Facebook. You have like a record at Facebook blotter.
And the thing is that I
wanted... get out Butch's file.
Run my numbers.
You know what I mean? It's like, there's a lot of stuff.
I started doing this positive thing on Twitch because at the time when I first started on Twitch, Facebook was a negative space for me, and I would go on Facebook and I'd rant and I'd get pissed and I'd yell and I'd say shit to people or I'd troll people. And and everybody on Facebook, everybody on Facebook knows me. And so if I felt like if I tried to be like, "Hey, everything's great and positive," like Facebook would be like, "Come on, Butch. Really?" The way you
was it, but it wasn't. Remember, it was like your friends were your friends on Facebook, and then your family started showing up, and then these people from high school started showing up, and then you had these different worlds, and for a while on Facebook they all kind of coexisted, but over the last 5 years, man, worlds collide. You can't keep
toxic.
Separate.
And that's the thing is that because like one of the things that I've learned is slowly because I would put something up scathing, right? So I'm like kind of like, "Hey, fucking Republicans, Democrats, whatever," and then like a very good friend of mine, might say something against what I'm saying, and then people who only know me through comedy that are like supporters. I don't like to say fans or anything like that because I'm not at that level. My comedy people that saw me through comedy that love my comedy don't know that that's my uncle, and they're like, "You fucking, hey, you fucking, piece of shit, blah blah blah," and it's like, and so I started to have to be like, hey, can we be nice to each other in this discussion? And then I'd post that. And for a while that didn't work. That didn't work. And I, like I was like, oh man, I kept getting
that was that whole
what?
Yeah, that was that whole worlds collide. That was that whole worlds collide thing, like
worlds
you
collide.
like in real life you were that guy. Like if there was something going wrong in the show, I'd be like, I'll get Butch. Butch will fucking fix this shit. This heckler, he'll fucking hear it from Butch.
And that's
But then everything went digital.
Right. Yeah.
And then like on the internet, like if I was in an argument sometimes on Facebook, I like just tag you. I tag Butch. Have the Butch chime in on this guy.
Come, hey, you want to talk to my big brother?
Yeah. I don't know how the internet is in this house.
Okay, we're good. We'll be patient.
I don't know if the internet's gonna work. So you let me know if it's choppy.
Okay.
I can't tell.
We'll make up for it. It's no big deal. That's the thing with this podcast. And because we haven't actually had any real meetings. We had like one conversation before we started doing it. And one of the things that I want to point out to everybody, by the way, Fishy Phineas, what's up? Love your video. Bro, throw your YouTube link here. Dude, that video was fucking brilliant, by the way. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. We haven't really had a real meeting over this whole podcast. We just kind of just jumped into it together, which I really loved because I think you're one of my absolutely favorite human beings in the whole wide world, but especially in comedy. And we have such great conversations. So to me, it was no, like, I didn't need to lay down some rules or we need to talk about, but one of the things I want to make note of is like, because we pushed the time up tonight, it's usually at 3, and you were like, hey, can we do it at 2? And this podcast going forward is no stress. Like we're gonna try to do it every Tuesday at a certain time. We're definitely gonna do it every Tuesday, unless both of us get sick or we fucking something happens. But that's the thing. If you're like, hey man, I got shit to do. Fuck, dude, I gotta go jerk off and fucking walk the dog. And this is getting in the way of that. Like that's fine. That's fine.
Well, today it could, it's I'm pretty. I mean, I really don't have a busy schedule for the last year.
None of us do.
But this week we happened to be house sitting. It was the first time we've really gone away during quarantine, and we had an opportunity to house sit. And I'm in somebody else's house right now, and you can see. Yeah, so this is not my house. And
what the fuck is that?
I don't know.
There? What is that?
I don't know, but it's I don't know. But you get scared sometimes.
See, if I was house sitting there, I'd take that, and I'd put it in the cabinet.
Put it outside.
And then yes, I would put it outside, and then right before the people came home, I'd put it back up. I can
make believe it's not there with the virtual screen. It's like, do you remember that Trilogy of Terror? Did you ever see Trilogy of Terror?
No.
Of Karen Black? It was 3 episodes that were like hard. They were on TV, and it was like this little doll that was possessed. Oh man.
Oh, I totally remember.
I don't know. That's
What about the one?
Yeah, and she keeps trying to kill it. She can't get out of the apartment, and
right.
And it's like she's drowning it, but
that's
like a little knife is chasing her around the park,
right? And it's
it might be.
It's cat something.
It's called Trilogy of Terror.
It's something about cats, because the cat.
Oh no, Cat's Eye.
Cat's Eye. That's it. Oh man, that was really really good. But yeah, dude, I was in my I house sitted for my sister, which is why we're starting it late tonight. DNA wanted to do it earlier actually, and I said sure, we'll do it at 2. And I got home and I waited till like 1:30, and I was like, you know what, I'll start setting up my computer stuff now. And it's like, dude, 2 monitors, this microphone boom, the fucking computer back there, all these fucking wires, dude, the camera. Way longer than 20 minutes for my stupid ass to fucking figure it out. So I was like, hey, can we do this later tonight? And really, I want to play with the times to see how it affects Facebook, to see how it affects Twitch. And overall, this is going to be broadcast on like a podcast app, like all the podcast app. Hopefully we'll have it. I know we're on Apple. I know we're already on a few others.
What's the name of it? Is
We
there
don't
a
have a
name?
name. We don't have a name right now, and that was the thing too. Is I want to figure out a name, and I kind of want to use because my girlfriend was telling me that mental health, Esco Babe, who was on the last one, was telling me that mental health podcast. Because I was like, at some point, I'm all, how dumb am I to start a mental health podcast? First of all, I'm a comic, not a mental health person. And like, and put a mental health.
That's a good idea.
Start a mental health podcast during a time when the most popular podcasts in the world are about murdering people. And so, like, there's all these murder porn podcasts that are just killing
the night's young.
And she goes, actually,
it could happen.
She's like, actually, mental health podcasts are doing really well. And so she suggested that we put mental health in the name. Because at first I was like, I like the idea of like this isn't working or whatever, but we'll figure out the name. And if anybody has any suggestions, changing our mental.
I think this isn't working.
Dude, Sam Leninger just fucking said it right now. Changing our mental DNA. I like that. I like that. I know DNA is a little uncomfortable because
Sam Leninger.
But
is it Leninger?
Or is it Leninger or Leninger? I just know him as Ham Sammy. And
Hammy Sammy Leninger.
Hammy Sammy Leninger. And I also know him as a good friend and probably one of the largest contributors to this podcast. Even though he didn't know it was a podcast, he was the largest contributor to this stream. I mean, the guy helped paid for the computer. He helped paid for the monitor. So
what the hell?
So
Sam, you got
because I don't know if you see it on your screen, but on my screen it's got a little scroll here, the Venmo and all that other stuff. By the way, shout out to Alexandra Sprouse. Thank you. I don't think she's watching it, but she donated $10 to our podcast, and I really appreciate her for that.
Thanks, Alexandra.
And anybody else who donates to the Venmo down here, boop. All that money goes solely to the podcast. It doesn't come to me. I'm not going to buy Bobby any food with it. I am.
That kid's gonna starve.
The kid's gonna starve. But yeah. So anyway, so I like that one, and I definitely think we'll take that one. He said Lininger. So it's Lininger. Yeah, it's Lininger.
Lininger. Lininger. Rhymes with finger.
I like changing our mental DNA. I do like that with DNA and Butch Escobar. How about that? Do you like that?
What was the first one you said?
This isn't working.
Something's not working. This isn't working.
I like this isn't working because the first year of therapy, I was all, this isn't working. This is why the fuck am I doing this? I'm still
that's so good.
I'm still sad.
That's so good. If that's not taken, bro, you should. Whatever you should do.
You want to go with that? All right. Well, all right. Maybe we'll talk a little more offline about it. But I wanted to get to.
This isn't working.
This isn't working. Nothing's working. Well, because you don't feel it working at first. That's the thing about therapy is you don't feel it working at first.
Yes.
You know, it took a whole year for
me.
Not
today, anyway.
It took me a whole year to feel it out. And then I started to see it working, but it took another year for me to have my first major epiphany, you know, that kind of took a lot of weight off my shoulder. Why did you say not today? Did you not go to therapy?
Well, I'm not doing it this week because we're house sitting and it just didn't work out. But no, today, you know, like some days are kind of an emotional roller coaster. Today, it was like, just like downward, like a roller coaster, just like go and like, is there going to be a bottom to this, or this is just how I feel all day?
Right. Yeah. I'm kind. You know what's
so,
weird?
And then
I feel you, bro. I've been in a mood today too.
In your head, I'm in my head a lot.
I've been in my head all day too, and I'm actually glad you said that because It's not that I've had a bad day. I just had a bad mental health day. And
exactly. I had an okay day.
Yeah, like I had an okay day. I had a good day.
It was actually I had a good day.
Oh, you had a good day.
Externally.
Oh, externally.
You know, externally a good day.
On the outside, everybody saw me having a good day. On the inside, the world is falling apart.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing is I've learned that about comedians too, especially. I was hanging out with a few comedians the other night online, like on a poker game, and they're two of the guys. You know, if you just on the exterior, they seem like happy, normal, very smart people. And when we started talking about anxiety and stuff, they were like, "Oh no, I'm a mess," And I'm like, "Really? I would not have expected either of you to say that." And both of them like had so many according to
Hmm.
them, had like a lot of self doubt and a lot of like stuff like that, and and even though I know it fundamentally, it
Yeah.
just made me realize everybody's fucked up. 90% of the people that are watching this are fucked up. And that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about because
Well, I mean, especially just during this time, and tell me if this is garbled because it says my internet's unstable, but you let me know if this doesn't sound right. But I said last week too, before quarantine, studies showed that 25% of Americans were depressed. Now, over the last year, I don't even know what, 75%. Like people, like there are people like you and I who have dealt with anxiety or depression our whole life. But
right.
then there are people who it's sort of new to over the last year. They don't even know what's going on. They're like, I feel so discombobulated. It's like, oh yeah, the world feels like it's ending. That's how it
Well,
always feels for me.
right. Well, you know what?
Like, welcome to my reality.
Yeah, you know what? I grew up with a mom who was like convinced we were going to be in a nuclear war by now. And
Yeah.
she constantly was like talking about the Russians and the American beef and the Cold War, and it cracks my girlfriend up. And because before I was in a comic, before I did any of this stuff, I lived out in the country, and one of the things about me living out in the country is I was a fucking doomsday prepper. Like I was a literal prepper. I used to
Mm-hmm.
take garbage those big green garbage cans for bushes and shit for trees, the biggest one in your group of garbage cans. I would take those and I'd
Mm-hmm.
seal the ends so that they would have a tight seal, and I would fill them with guns and fucking food and water, and then I would bury them in certain places out in South County, South Santa Clara County, out in Morgan Hill. Those are still out there somewhere,
Yeah.
by the way, for everybody to know. Like, I have no idea where they are. I've totally forgot. I lost the maps that had the marks on them. And they're out there. There's like three of them out there that I fucking have no idea where the fuck they're at, and probably I'll never need them. Probably I'll never, because that was my thing when I was younger. When I was a little kid, my mom would talk about.
You can't even use a metal detector because they're plastic garbage cans.
Oh, and they're dug like 6 feet down. They're like they're fucking down there, bro. They're like there's and like one of them has like a really expensive payload because
Does it
there's
have like old comic books?
no, it
Old
has
comic, you
there's
know what I
like a
mean?
couple of guns in there.
Baseball card.
I used to be a avid gun collector, and so
Oh, right.
yeah, there's a couple rifles in one of them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so one day,
How old were you? Were you a young, how old were you? 20s or what?
yeah, I
Teenager?
was like 23, 24.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't get into comedy until I was like almost 30. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and this was right during. I mean, this is right before comedy. Like, I was a fucking nut bar, and it was because my mom was always like convincing me that we were gonna get nuked, and my thing was like, well, let's get a shelter so we could survive. And my mom was like,
Right.
what?
Which
She's like, you don't
was
survive
part
in a
of her
nuclear
end of
war.
the world. Was she like, because like kids who grew up in like the 50s, they were always having those like nuclear tests, and
Yes.
they'd be like, all right, kids, get under your desk. So they lived with the threat of nuclear war. But did she have like a religious component to it? Was like she an end of worlder because of religion, or it was all strictly out of
It
fear
was
of nuclear war?
it was all strictly out of nuclear war and politics. My mom paid very much
Wow.
close attention to politics. She's a very smart lady. She had a major in journalism. She ended up becoming. She started a community center in Morgan Hill for low income children,
Right.
and that was her opus, if you will. Um, but she paid attention to politics, and her thing was, if we get nuked, we're not trying to fucking survive. We're walking right into the fucking blast, because there's no way I'm gonna try to survive, in
she's my kind of person. You and I have had this conversation.
We have had this conversation.
I'm like, I'm not a survivor. And if there's a nuclear flash, I run towards it. Like, I don't want to be on the outside. My skin is decaying. I'm trying to like find a can of beans, that dog looks tasty. I want to just go run to the flash. And that's it.
You know what changed? You know what changed my mind?
No thanks.
You know what? Because I was the guy who wanted to survive, and what changed my mind was Walking Dead. Because I would watch Walking Dead, and I go, why are you trying to survive? Everybody's dying around you. It sucks. Dude, there's no toothpaste. There's no soap.
None. No one's brushed their teeth in 8 years.
Oh, bro, they're making out in certain scenes, and I'm like, fuck that, dude.
I can't go like 2 days.
It looks miserable.
2 days, I don't even want to smell my breath.
Bro, the morning.
8 years?
The next morning. You know what I mean?
Rick seemed like he knew what he's doing, but he had no like care for like proper dental hygiene.
No, and he was fucking everybody. It was fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. It's disgusting to me to see people in post-apocalyptic movies have sex and make out, because I'm like, listen, I smell my dick after the gym. You know what I mean? And it's like, ooh, fuck. Like, I go to the gym. Get the fuck out of here. But like, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. And so I like dystopic end of the world movies, Independence Day, The Day After Tomorrow, all the Mad Max. I love all that stuff.
Right.
And when this quarantine started almost exactly a year, a little bit more than a year ago, my first thought was, I'm prepared because I've seen all these movies. Because you remember, like a year ago, it was like, all the stores might be closed. How are we going to get food? Like, you shaved your beard. I mean, we were going crazy,
Do you remember how fucking freaked out you were? Because I feel like me and you are in the same in that way. Like, this rough exterior isn't real. I feel like I'm more like you, where bro, when that shit was going down, I was panicking. I was having like fights with people because they were like, chill, bro, chill. And I was like, fuck no, bro. And I stocked up the house. I mean, every time I found like just a roll of toilet paper sitting in an aisle, I bought it. Every time I found water, I bought it. Every time I found rubbing alcohol, because I don't know if you remember, rubbing alcohol just disappeared, I bought it. And my dad kept telling me like, hey, I wouldn't trip that hard. And even like on the news, they were like, hey, the supply chain isn't broken. It just wasn't ready for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't believe it. I was like, dude, in another 6 months, we're going to be walking barren land here.
And meanwhile, Trump is like, this is all going to go away in April, because when it becomes warm out, it'll disappear. Right. So like from the top down, it's like, be calm. But I remember watching you shave your beard. It was one of the first people I think that I saw do something like that online. Because, it was a big pivot to go from being the guy who, before a quar, I'd be like, fucking, but you got to be here in 2 hours. I have a show. And you'd be like, I'll stop everything I'm doing and get in my car and drive to a show. And having done that for 10 years, and then pivot to like, I have to be on the screen now. What am I going to do? How am I going to interact? Who am I as the guy on the screen? Right. And you did the beard shaving thing to raise money. And I'll never forget it, because you were talking, like, you were trying to be funny with your girl and all, and you were trying to make it entertaining because you're a performer, but you were also saying like, you have to go to the pharmacy. If you go to the pharmacy, you need a face covering that's tight. You can't do that with the beard. And it was like you were panicking live on air, but in a really productive manner that made me feel better. I'm like, here's a guy taking care of himself.
Well, that's how I do. I mean, even offline and everything, Butch panicking is Butch dicking around. You know, like I just can't. Like even in the worst of times, I'm still like dicking off, you know, and that was definitely my way of like, yeah, I'm panicking, and I got to make money here because the money stopped. And by the way, that first little stint that little stint of money that came in from that video fed us for a good couple of weeks, and so we were able to survive until we
Dude,
figured out.
the money, we started doing the Wednesday, Thursday shows that week of the week right when it closed.
Mm-hmm.
And we made, our tips were insane for the first, for end of March, April. I mean, people were watching and tipping like huge. They were so happy that somebody was doing something. And
Right.
that's over now.
Yeah. Yeah, because we all figured out we're gonna live
Now
now.
it's just a glut in the
But before
market.
it was like, you know, what do I care about this money? We're all gonna
Yeah.
be gone in 6 months.
Right.
And
Right.
once we figured out, and
Right.
that's the thing,
Right.
man, is
No, I think that's true. You know, I think that's true. And I think that there are people all around us who are like, I never panicked, bro. And I think those people are still in shock because our panicking was a result that we were in shock because, like I just said, you would drive anywhere. There's no more driving. There's
right,
no more shows. Everything is stopped.
stop.
And if you didn't go into shock then, I think you're still in shock. I think you haven't dealt with what happened because, and look, I'm trying my best not to be negative and jaded in my words lately, because I live with my wife.
Right.
And that
Yeah,
would be
yeah, yeah.
really
Because we
bad for
rub
the
off.
relationship.
Yeah.
Um, but but uh, I'm very leery of all these people right now with their second vaccinations who are like, happy days. Oh, it's gonna be, it's just like it was. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I feel like we're still like somewhere in the middle of the story.
Well, this is a huge test. I think
Like,
that's the thing
is it
people
gonna keep
forget.
going? I
That
don't
this
know.
is a huge. Like this is we're still on a trial with the medication. The trial that they ran before they gave it to us was just
Right,
to make sure we didn't fucking die from it or go blind. You know,
right. It's not FDA approved.
but at the beginning,
It's all experimental.
it's all experimental. It's all experimental, and so we just need to kind of hang in there, you know, and still not go out and party and be crazy. I mean, I mean, as I say that, I'm looking forward to, you know, what's crazy is I'm gonna get my second vaccination on the 7th, and then by the time the
Yeah,
vaccination kicks in, what 20, like you know, however many days later, I've
end of April.
yeah, I'm already booked for my first indoor show on the other side of the country. So, as I say that, I do feel like though we do need to be careful. I'm still gonna wear my mask. I'm not gonna congregate if I don't have to, you know. And to be honest with you,
Yeah.
I might stay that way forever now. You know, because people are like, oh, I can't wait to get rid of these masks, you know, and like,
Oh,
I,
I'm not getting rid of it.
no,
No way.
no,
And
dude.
forever, man.
You know, if you ever go to Japan or you go to China, way before this shit was
Yeah.
happening, motherfuckers were wearing masks. You know, Singapore was the first one to like they made it a law, but they were already wearing masks, so they were already used to it. By the way, Goth Brooks on Twitch, thank you for the raid. I don't have my beepy thing right now. Otherwise, I go beep 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 for the raid. I appreciate you. I really really appreciate you for doing that. And yes, we'll play some COD later, of course.
Nice.
And Lionel Hutz has given me a follow. Beep, 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 beep. I wish I had my thing. Hey, Bobby. Hold on, I'll get it right now. Hey, Bobby. He's like, fuck, what does this guy want from me? Bobby. Okay. I don't know where Bobby went. But I have this little buzzer that I usually kick off when somebody gives me a follow. Anyway, what were we at? Where were we at?
I don't know. But yeah, you know, a year ago, it's only been a year. And a year ago, I was losing, I was in shock. I didn't know what was going on. You know, it's like, it's been a lot, you know, in the middle of the Trump administration, there's a lot going on, losing the business, just trying to readapt to like
right.
life without comedy. And now like a year later, you know, things are starting to open up, you know. I'm trying not to get all jealous and FOMO of all these shows that are happening. And, you know, I'm trying, like today I was saying earlier, you know, it's been hard, and I'm trying to get perspective, you know, and my perspective is that, look, in the bigger picture, you know, laughter is so important. People laughing is so important. Comedians working is so important. If these clubs can do it right with, like, you know, fucking distance, and I don't fucking know how, like, I'm sort of like, I'm kind of glad I don't have to deal with this. Like if we had kept the venue, I'd have to be figuring out like how people are going to sit, you know, far enough away from each other and not have their mask. You're drinking, you're not drinking, put your mask back up. You're sitting in the front row. How is the performer far enough away? Like trying to, you know, because I mean, to me, it's like if you're a venue operator, that's where the responsibility is. And I hope like your number one thing is keeping everybody safe and not just making a dollar. Yeah, you got to survive, but man, you know.
Well, and that's the thing, man, is I think we don't want to all come back here, and I think in order to do that, we need to be safer about how we go about our business. I don't have a problem, you know, still staying a few feet apart from each other, even after we find out that everything's okay. I don't have a problem wearing a mask because besides, I didn't get even one cold this year. I didn't get a flu. I didn't get anything, and that's the thing is flus are down, colds are down. You know, we're actually, despite motherfuckers dying left and right from COVID, we're a much healthier country now. And so I think we do need to be a little more careful. You know, I wonder if STDs are down because people aren't fucking.
I'm never shaking hands again. But my point is that, you know,
I hate shaking hands.
Great,
so
you know, you're gonna have 45. Oh yeah, well, my main thing used to be like being on the soapbox to stop circumcision. Not anymore, guys. Now I'm against handshaking.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't want to go. This isn't a comedy. I'm not about to go off on handshaking. It's disgusting. But here's my point. Good. Comedy's coming back. You have 25 people, 50 people, bigger shows outdoors. That's fantastic. That's not the problem. The problem is spring break when you have 100,000 college kids just smacking on each other, and COVID's just spiking in Florida. Or are they, remember last year, are they going to do it again? The Sturgis run, that thing in South Dakota, where all the motorcycle guys went last year. Remember, it was like 250,000, and the band was Smash Mouth. And then they tracked how people there brought COVID to the States.
I call that.
But are they going to do that again? Because those are like.
I was calling that natural selection festival.
Like, yeah,
it's just
like a super spreader.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, that's the thing. Is like, you know, I don't know. Like, if we shave off a few idiots.
I mean, this show. You know, we're not doctors. No, I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor either.
I'm not saying that, you know, they couldn't weaponize COVID. Let's say the Russians are all about destabilizing America.
Right.
They fucking get the little vial of COVID, just like in 12 Monkeys. They go to fucking anywhere there's 20,000 people, just dose it. Yeah, go. They don't know. They go, do we have to get booster shots for these vaccinations? How long do the vaccinations last? They don't know. It's all experimental right now. But I think that, yeah, comedy's good, but like these huge events are to keep it unstable, and it's going to roll back. It's going to roll back. You know, it's going to roll back to whatever the fucking colored tier is that keeps us inside.
Which is kind of like, that? Hey, red? Thank God
is
I
that
live
the
on
worst one. Red.
Yeah, red is. I think red is our purple. The colors are fucking stupid. I can't remember. Like, I'm. This is where I'm glad that I live on the West Coast. And we're not having beach parties and fucking people are. I mean, yeah, we have our share of fucking anti-maskers and shit, but dude, like that's the one thing that I'm grateful for right now is like, you know, when you go to the grocery store and there's a guy without a mask, the whole fucking place jumps down his throat. And he's not, and I've never seen.
Yeah, and it's Bruce Willis.
I've never seen the guy or the lady that's like, I'm not gonna wear my mask. I've never seen that happen here. You know, but I see it on videos and I'm like, oh my God, bro, that's got to be somewhere else. And it typically is. I'm not trying to shit on
in Stanford. I've seen it in California.
Have you seen it here in California?
Oh yeah, dude. There's this famous video of this woman in Chico, and she's at a Panini's, and she's like, "I'm not gonna wear my mask," and she goes up to people. Like, just what are you doing, you crazy lady? You're breathing on people, you're trying to prove what that you're just crazy, you know? I mean, yeah. So it's like someone like her is a person that's still in shock. They're still in shock. They haven't dealt with the entire ramifications of the whole world stopping for a year and how it's going to play out.
I get what you're saying now with the still in shock. Like it hasn't hit, the reality hasn't hit them. And
no, I don't think so. I think a lot of people are living. I think that's why so many people got sucked into that cult, you know, and went down that fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's the thing to me is like
what that.
Like I said before, I'm a doomsday prepper, and you know that I love Sasquatch shit and aliens, and I love fucking conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And the conspiracy theories that were coming out, you know, are so fucking stupid. Because to me, it's just like that doesn't.
A lot of them are stupid, but you know, but there are like there's elements like that are hard to really like. There, you know, was COVID come out of a laboratory? If it did it just escape? What was it purposely taken? Who took it? How did it spread? But I mean, you can go, no, that's not true. It was from a bat or whatever. Right. That's fine. But I mean, I'm the kind of person who looks at that part of the conspiracy and goes, bioweapons? No, our country wouldn't do that.
I honestly think if it is a bioweapon, I don't think it was released. Because I think that you have enough analysts to say, hey, look, we could release this thing in China, but we got a fuck ton of people that come from China here. And so it's going to get spread here. And the other thing is like something like 80%, 85% of our flus and colds come from in the whole world, from one region in like northern China. And I heard this on NPR, so before everybody jumps down my fucking throat, I heard it on NPR. Okay? It was a study, and it was like, and it was back during the bird flu days. And so to me, I think it might have, if it was, that would be rad if it was made in a fucking lab. I think it got out. And here's my thing, man. This is why I think this thing isn't a total conspiracy. Because one of the things that people were constantly telling me about the mask and the beard when I was doing the beard thing is like, hey, bro, this is just mind control, man. This is just about controlling people. And I'm like, no. They're like, this is the way that they're gonna start controlling us now. And I'm like, no. That conspiracy started happening with capitalism. The control fucking method was called money, your house, material items. Like that's not a conspiracy. It's a reality. Like fucking and you go to work every day. You make just enough to fucking survive. You make just enough to get through everything. And then you come home and you got to eat, and then you need a vacation, and you need that TV, or you need that new dildo, and fucking, and now you have no more money, and you got to go about and make more money. And so even though there's enough money in this world and enough food to distribute to everybody, and everybody survives and can live like really, really okay, that to me is why it's a conspiracy. Capitalism overall is a conspiracy that works. So when everybody gets sick, like we're now, then those money makers, those people pushing the buttons, those people slaving away during that conspiracy, can't work anymore. And our government, who doesn't give a fuck about us, because I laugh when the government's like, we're trying to take care of everybody now in these hard times, blah blah blah, and it's like, no, you don't. You need your money to come back. You need your tax dollars to come back in. You need to start feeding the machine again. So to me, it just, I think somebody fucked up in a lab somewhere probably, or a pangolin fucked a bat and fucking spit in a fucking guy's mouth or something. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know, to me, it's like, and that's the thing is, I'm the little guy in all of this. Like, I don't even care. Just fucking let me go back and do shows. I wasn't trying to make a ton of money anyway.
Fuck. First of all, hey, Tammy T, what's up?
Tammy
so here's
T.
the thing though, right?
Tammy T love in the house.
Okay. What's the Tammy T? What's the goal of capitalism? The rich get richer. And what's happened during this last quarantine year? The uber rich have gotten more rich than they've ever gotten in any time. The plague really put them over. So you've seen Quarantine and Outbreak. They always have those screens with the little red. That's like it's a flat map of the planet. Little red dots are like, an outbreak started here and then multiplied here and multiplied here. So they can work out scenarios. So somebody could have said, oh man, this COVID-19, we fucking drop it in Wuhan and then it'll spread exponentially like this. And then the richer will make so much money and it'll put an end to free press and it'll destroy Hollywood. And we hate California and New York anyway. All of our goals, which happen to be Russia's goals, they'll all happen. If this could be the thing, and then who knows? I'm just saying that, whereas the QAnon gets pegged as, see, here's what, look, I had the long beard, remember? I had the QAnon beard. It's gone. Okay. I'm not with those guys, but you can still not trust the government and believe in conspiracies or unproven facts that are out there and not be part of that fucking that coalition. But you could be an independent thinker, think for yourself. And then so I'm not sure about that, is what I'm saying. Was it weaponized? I don't really know. But then the other big part of it is these vaccinations, which everybody's getting right now.
Right.
I've never got a flu shot. Never got a flu shot my whole life. Never got the flu. Maybe I did. I don't know. It didn't kill me. But I got my first vax shot. And I'm just fucking doing it. This is the part of the script where you do that. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna put on the brakes and start. I pull out my tinfoil hat on the fucking vaccine.
Let me give you a little shade of light on this, though. Okay, just remember that in like 10 years, you're gonna get a settlement. Because like you're growing a fucking tiny head out your neck or something like that. Where the fuck did DNA go?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all right. It's the money up ahead. This is gonna work out.
Yeah. Like, look, dude. Like, we're all. I kind of like. To me, at first, I was freaked out and scared, just like everybody else was. And now I'm just going along for the ride. I kind of feel like too that, like, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm all for movies and entertainment. So to me, we're living in a movie. You know what I mean? We're living in a really rare time in the world. And that's the thing, is that I keep saying, like, if this is the end of the world, we're in a weird fucked up way, we're lucky because we get to watch the end of all of civilization. We get to watch it all fucking fall apart right in front of our eyes, and like
and The Sopranos.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So here's what I'm saying.
Right.
So I could see how it could have been weaponized and shown to profit the richest of the rich, destroy a lot of those institutions they hated anyway, like free speech, and without throwing us into an authoritarian state, just cripple everyone that does anything cool. But then they don't want to kill us. We're workers. They don't want to kill everybody. So they give us the vaccine. And then I think, all right, well, I think the vaccine's okay. I can't wait to get my second one and be bulletproof.
Right. And then in 20 more years, there'll be another one. But the thing is, to me, is this. Like I was watching this guy, Philip DeFranco, on YouTube today. And
James' dad? James DeFranco's dad?
No. He's just a random guy who reads the news and makes it palpable for everybody else. And one of the things he says is, if you survived, you're doing it right. If you've already survived this far, you're doing it right. And I think that's the idea, man, is like, I wore my mask. I did everything I was supposed to. To be honest, yes, I really freaked out in the beginning of this. Yes. Am I still freaked out a bit? I don't even know if it's freaked out. I'm very aware. Okay? But I'm not scared anymore. I'm not worried. I'm not tripping off the vaccine. I'm really not, because to me, it's like I talk to people like Priyanka Wally or my doctor. And by the way, Priyanka Wally is a comic who is an epidemiologist and who is working very hard during this thing and at the beginning. And that's who drove it home for me, is when she was like, comics, stop going to shows. This is real. I've never seen anything like this, and that's what scared me. But when we talk about the fucking vaccine now, I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable with it because as someone who spent, many, many years, teens of years in comedy, I could say this for sure. If you need to know about comedy and entertainment business, I'm an expert. I could tell you because I've been in this business for 16 years. But if you want to know about medicine, you got to go to the guy who's been in the business for 16 years in medicine. Don't go to your fucking YouTube friend. Don't go to your fucking Bitcoin collector. Go to a doctor who's been working. Because, yes, are there some fucking government shills? Sure, there are. I think there are. But I also think my friend Dr. Dami out of Selena's Family Practice, who's been my friend for, I don't know, 20 years now, isn't gonna lie to me. I don't think he's gonna be like, you know what, Butch, like, I can't tell you the truth because the government's paying. No, that's not happening. So I think there's truth to things, and I think there's truth to conspiracy theories as well. But I think right now I
But
think.
do you think, all right, so we're agreed on some things, differ on some things.
Oh,
But
I
if you
like
look
this.
ahead,
This is a saucy
yeah, so
podcast.
California released today that they're doing better on keeping COVID down than most states in the country. And so if we could get herd immunity in our state, but all the other states, they're going crazy. They don't give a shit. No masks. They ain't getting their vaccinations.
Right.
That do you think? Could you foresee a future where the whole landscape of the United States is changed fundamentally, and there's like borders on California where we have like sort of like Walking Dead, where we have to keep the wall to keep people out because look, hey, in California, we're not infected. Outside California, you're infected. You can't come in until you get your vax.
Well, here's the thing.
And then they're like,
there's already
that's freedom of speech, man. I'm not wearing a mask.
There's already a border on California. I don't know if you know this, but there's already a border around California. Here's how, as far as Californians go, we don't have to worry about fucking Floridians coming in or Alabamians or fucking anybody else because we're the most expensive place to live. You could ask anybody who's left the state to go live somewhere else that goes, oh, fucking Arizona sucks dick. I need to move back to California. Well, guess what? California ain't having it because your fucking $1,000 fucking 2-bedroom in Phoenix ain't gonna fucking get you dick here in California. Anywhere. So we already have a border around California. It's called fucking money. So I think the thing is like because to me that's the conspiracy. To be honest, that's the conspiracy. Money is the conspiracy.
But it's like you go, what is? But it's like, what is California? Like to me, California, man. When I was growing up, dude, all I wanted to do was go to the Bay Area, man. I knew all about the '60s and shit, and I was like, that's the place, you know. Bobby.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Bobby.
What's Bobby up to?
Here, can you
all
grab
right.
my
Things
backpack
good
for me and bring it here real quick? Thank you. Yeah, I was just.
What's up, Bobby? And then, you know, San Francisco was greatest city in the world, a competitor with Paris and London and New York City. But now, you know, what is it? 70% of the small businesses are out of business. And I mean, I wouldn't say an exodus, but we know a lot of comedians that left. And I mean, how's it gonna? It's gonna be different, right? Things are gonna. It's who's gonna. I mean, things have changed. I think you can't not admit that things have changed. You know, it's like there's new people in the storefronts opening new businesses. A lot of the old places, Mills College just shut down. I mean, the reverberations of the last year are still being played out. Like it's not over yet.
So, do you think that's a bad thing or a good thing?
I think it's, you know, you evolve or perish, you know, you mutate, you know, or you stay in shock and you put your head in the sand and you say nothing's wrong and global warming isn't real and everyone shouldn't be allowed to vote,
Can
and
can I put my positive spin now?
Jews stay
Can,
in the attic.
can I?
Yeah, go
You
ahead,
know
go
what I
ahead.
like about this podcast that I'm figuring out? I'm glad that you have that view, because it's not my view only differs because it's out of hope, because I tend to go in the direction you're going,
Right,
but
right, right, right.
but it scares the fuck out of me.
Well, let me okay. So let me just say one. Let me say one or two things.
By the way, let me just interrupt real
One,
quick. Everybody in the comments right now, I'm gonna read them in a
yeah,
minute. Just give us a minute here. I want to hear what DNA's saying.
yeah, yeah. Give us one. Give us one. Let's. First of all, if you're just tuning in on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, this isn't working.
This isn't working. This is not working,
bro. DNA. This is not working. And I'm house sitting. This is a fake screen behind me. There's a house behind me I'm totally unfamiliar with. I've had an up and down day. I'm a little bit agitated. I'm a little bit scared. And I got about 10 more minutes left in me, man. And I want to say, after everything I've said about, I'm out here slinging, bioweapon conspiracy. Look, all I did today was try to tell myself perspective.
right?
Look, it doesn't matter what the world's doing. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. How am I doing? Am I okay? Can I take a breath? Yes. Can I not stay so agitated in my head all the time? And the thing I came up with today, mantra or whatever, I kept trying to repeat to myself was that, I don't remember, but it was like, you're okay. It's like, it's okay. Like,
you are okay.
Spend your mind, spending so much time on the past and the future is like just trying to be here now.
So let me give you some perspective. Can I give you some perspective? Because I think this is what I love. This is why I like us. Please. Okay. So the other day I was house sitting like you. I forgot my nasal medication. Okay. And I don't know if anybody knows this about these things. They're super addictive. And I need to get off of it, and I recognize this. Okay. And that's enough for another episode. But I take this and if you watch me on Twitch, you see me take it, because within an hour now of me taking it, my my nasal passages shut down completely. Not just a little bit. It's not just hard to breathe. I cannot breathe into my nose. Now, I drove out to Tracy without my medication. And as I was sitting there playing on the computer doing whatever, my nasal passages started to shut down. And I went to look for my medication, and it wasn't there. And I'm in Tracy, and there's no 24-hour fucking drugstores to go to. And I started to panic. And because it's one of the most uncomfortable things, it's actually a thing that makes me panic really bad. Okay? So when I was sitting at the computer that morning, I was worrying about all the same things you were worrying about. I was having the same bad day you're having right now. But my world shrunk as soon as my nose shut down, because I didn't give a fuck about what happened anymore. I just wanted to breathe through my nose, and that became the most important thing. So it's just crazy, right? But once my nasal passages opened up again, and this is my thing, this has been my mantra for the last few days. Like, something bad happens, I'm like, fuck, well, at least I could breathe. If my landlord kicked me out right now, I'm not so far removed from that moment, from that horrific night of not being able to breathe for like 7 or 8 hours till the fucking drugstores opened up. I'm so closely removed from it still that if my landlord kicked me out, I'd be like, fuck, well, at least I can breathe through my fucking nostrils again. And so that's the perspective. That's the perspective. I remember watching this guy. Yeah. He's a motivational speaker, and he was like, like your God is whatever you want most, right? A lot of people who are Christians, they're God, like gods are what you want most. If you can't breathe, breathing is your God at that moment. If you can't eat, food is your God. So I think we need to go forward into the world with that perspective a little bit, and I encourage you to do the same, and I'm sorry you're having a bad day. I actually was having a really bad day today too. But I got to talk to my friend today. I got to do a podcast with him. I feel so much better that I did this. Right before I got on, I was telling my girlfriend, Here I was like, man, I'm having such a bad day. I don't even know how the fuck I'm gonna do a mental health podcast about positivity when I'm in such a fucking horrible place.
Right.
But it is, man. You're
Right.
breathing right now. You got food in your belly. Like, yeah, maybe we're looking at the end of the world, but it hasn't happened yet. And hopefully, if it does happen, we won't even notice it. So, that's my perspective for you. Um, should we read some of these comments here?
Yeah. Hit it up.
Yeah, because
Do
we're
it.
about to be done here.
Alexandria Sproles.
I want to give Alexandria
Yeah.
Sproles one of these from last week. Thank you for the fucking dono. That was wonderful. I'm sorry I didn't see it until way later because for some reason my stupid phone doesn't get the notifications. Also, Lionel Hutz, thank you for the fucking follow on Twitch. Let's go ahead and read some of these comments here. On Twitch, I'm reading Sid. Sid's written a lot here throughout everything, so I'm just gonna read the last couple of ones. Um, no, I'm glad Sid's like, I'm so sorry. The whole chat on Twitch is from me. That's what I want. We're not always gonna get to read everything, but we're gonna try to read through these, and as we do this more and more, we're gonna try to adjust. So, let me see what you said here. Yeah, I love looking at y'all's real estate. It's delightful as Massachusetts, just unavailable. See, that's what I'm saying. Here in California, we already have a wall built around us, DNA. So just don't fucking leave, bro.
Yeah.
You want to read some of these? You want to respond
I'm
to?
reading them too.
Which ones are you reading?
I'm reading Sid. Sid wrote a novel.
Oh yeah, Sid's
I'm
a good
I'm reading
participator. Okay, so I'm reading Alexander's. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm reading. That doesn't make for engaging viewing. Is me reading.
Right. We gotta figure out
Sid,
how.
this is
Yeah.
this is.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't want to read it out loud because I'll end up saying some word and then we'll be thrown off Twitch. So.
Oh really?
I think there's some F bomb, but anyway.
Oh no, we could say fuck on here all we want.
Oh,
fuck
you got it, Sid. Yeah, Sid's totally on top of it, man.
You just can't say N-word and any stuff like that.
No.
By the way, Sid's not saying any of that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, man, it's been super it's just been super intense times. Like, do you remember like the last year? It was like every day there was a new story, like something new and incredibly bad was happening. You had to know. I was such a news junkie for the last 4 years, and especially during quarantine, where it was like I was like kept off balance. I could have not done garbage in, garbage out of my head, but I was so intrigued by the apparent disintegration of America that I kind of thought it was newsworthy and wanted to eat every little bite of it. But I was in it. I was in the deep end. Now I was bombarded on every side every day, and that was, I think, by design, to keep people off balance so they can't pay attention. And yeah, Sid, this has been going on for decades and decades. Absolutely. I totally agree. And so I think that's why talking about mental health is so important, to let other people know. I think that I'm not the only one that, Butch is kind of like a North Star. He's human, he fucks up, but a lot of times, man, he's like dead on the perspective that helps you be a better person in these turbulent times in one piece. So I'm thankful to do this every week, and I'm really glad that people tune in. Well, I think it's important, and I love my bro Butch.
Let me give a little perspective here back on the Mills College, because Alexandra Sprouse says, so sad, I love Mills, which is the college that's shutting down here. And thank you for the comment on the poster there. Yes, you can see their nipples. But let me go back to the businesses shutting down. Everything, and this is my perspective, and this is things that I've learned just in the last few years, because I had such negative perspective on everything, and learning how to switch my perspective is new to me. And there's times where I could do it, and there's times where I can't. But one of these things on the scorched earth subject of like things are shutting down, people are losing, and that's exactly what it is. It's scorched earth. Imagine a forest fire. Fires are fucking awful. They're destructive. They're terrible, and they run through forests. But what they also do is they clear the forest for more growth. I'm sad for people who lost their business. My friend here lost his business, which also gave me business, and I'm sad for that. But at the same time, like he said, I don't know what I was gonna fucking do when we came back anyway. And so what I do know about him is that he'll figure it out, he'll move on, and he'll fucking create something amazing for all of us to do again. And that's the thing, is that I'm sad for everybody who had businesses shut down. But we do live in America, and none of us have really starved to death yet. So we are still able to get back on our feet. We are still able to move forward. And what I'm looking forward to is the growth. A lot of brick and mortar has shut down. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe because we're on the internet now, because like what I've learned to do is live, through ordering stuff. I've learned, and I don't know if overall that's a good thing, but for Butch Escobar, who doesn't want to leave his house for shit, I love that I could order anything. I love that I could do a podcast with my friend in Santa Cruz who I've always wanted to do a podcast with. And that this is acceptable. There's been a few glitches. There's been a few moments where you freeze up or we couldn't hear one word you said. But and maybe
I'll fix that next week.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is before this happened, that might have been like, oh fuck, this is. But we have kind of given ourselves a little gauge here. Zoom shows are not the fucking funniest shows. They're not the fucking greatest thing. But I would do Zoom shows and I would hear people laugh and it made me feel good. And so we got through that. And I think that's one of the things too, is that no matter what, man, fuck all the divide. We fucking got through this together. Yeah, we had a few idiots on the bus that were fucking shit up in the back, but the majority of us pushed through. And if you're alive right now and you're COVID free, you got through this. You fucking survived. Like, we should get a ring or a jacket or a tattoo, because I know I am. I'm finding something to monument this part of my life, because I certainly thought I was going to die. I have diabetes, asthma, high blood pressure. I get my second vaccine on the 7th. Am I going to be COVID free for the rest of my life? I don't know. Will I get it and die? I don't know. But I have a so much better outlook now because I survived. I feel tougher. You should feel tougher. And we're gonna go forward. Is it a conspiracy? Maybe it is. Does the government control us? Fuck yeah, the government controls us. That's what governments do. And should we rebel against them? Fuck yeah, that's what people do. Should we give up our lives to do it? Hell yeah, dude. That's what human beings do. And that evolving force of life just keeps pushing forward and forward and forward. DNA, one day you're gonna die. But that's just your body. Your spirit's going to go back into the fucking power grid and then come back out, and there's going to be a baby DNA pit bull or a baby DNA fucking grasshopper or maybe another baby DNA, and you'll relive again.
Shit, I may stay in the grid.
Or you might stay in the grid.
Man.
Or you might stay in the grid.
I may not.
Spooky Dad says
get reincarnated this next time.
Spooky Dad says if we could make a huge company sweat, it's a good thing, which we've been doing lately. I'm always shopping local over anything to help grow something small. Which, see, there you go. Yeah. Wish unions were taking more seriously these days, and that's the thing, is we're fighting towards that. And so people like you should be supporting that, and I'm supporting that. But we're contributing. That's a community. Sid says, "Oh God, I know you're saying important shit right now, but I just remembered the people who get Corona beer tattoos a year ago." And then let me see over here. The vaccine is good too. You will feel better. And that's the thing, man, is like, I do feel better. Like, me and my girlfriend went to get the vaccine together. I saw that you went and got yours. And we didn't expect to get ours. We found a glitch in the system, if you will. And
me neither.
And we got it, and it was one of the best days that we both had together. And to be honest with you, it was one of the best days that I ever had. That's crazy to say that, because it's like, what do you mean? That was, how sad is it that it's one of the best days you ever had during the? No, it's not. It's not sad, because like I said, if you're hungry, I remember one time I had to go on a diet to try to join the military, which I never made it into the military. But I had to go on this huge diet to try to get in. I ended up not getting in because of my asthma and everything else. But I remember going on this diet to lose the weight so I can get in. And I didn't eat for like a week, and I was fucking hungry. And so as soon as I weighed in and I qualified weight, I went over to the cafeteria and I got this wrapped fucking sitting in the fucking fridge for 2 days tuna sandwich and this little cup of fucking Donald Duck orange juice and this cup of like ugly like beans with like a slimy sauce on the top. To this day, DNA, one of the best meals I ever had. One of the best fucking meals I ever had. So everything is perspective. Like I said, one of the really good moments that I've had in the last week was when I got to breathe through my nose again. When I finally got let into the fucking Walgreens by my sister's house, and I went down the aisle and I picked up this bottle of fucking nasal stuff, and I shoved it into my nose, and within 5 minutes, my nasal cavities opened up, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. So you know, like that's the thing. Beard Boys are back in town, says Captain Brosif. I'm hoping to get mine Thursday. See, we're all doing this together. That's the one thing, man. I kind of am watching people get their vaccines, and I'm excited for them. When I saw you get your vaccine, that picture of you, I was excited for you because I know how much you stress out too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this: if things do go really sideways, I want all the Escabros, I want everybody watching to know Butch has a map of where he's buried enough provisions for 20 of us
to survive
throughout California.
Right.
And so look, things are okay. It's going to be all right. I'm DNA. I do Zoom shows twice a week. If you want to watch me do comedy and magic with a puppet every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. at DNA's Comedy Lab.
There you
and
go.
Then on Thursdays, we do storytelling. And storytelling is a little bit different. And storytelling is kind of like this show, where it's there's a pathos. And there's, over the last year, man, we've had some incredible stories. And this week it's about growing up. It's like about that moment in your life. It could have happened when you were 8 or 18, where you realized, oh yeah, I'm now at a different level. I was, I thought, because my story, and not to go into it, but the crux of it is, I had, as a kid, I was just really insulated, and I didn't ever have any ramifications. There was no penalties. There was never any consequences. And then when I was 16, my grandma, who was living with us, she like fell in the bathtub, split open her head, and I was unable to deal. Like I called for help, but then I couldn't deal. I remember sitting on the couch in the living room, and I remember telling myself, man, you don't know how to deal with shit. Like you have been up to this point the kind of person who just fucking never dealt with anything. And I was 16, and I think that moment happens to us throughout our lives, and absolutely. I think that right now, if you're watching this and you're struggling and you're having a hard time, it's like Butch was sort of saying, it's like that's an opportunity for growth. All that struggle, you can't grow without shit. Literally, you need manure to grow things.
Right.
And all this shit we're going through right now, man, we're going to blossom out of it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're going to blossom out of it. And I think we're going to survive, and I think we're going to see a bright new future. Because I think the majority of us saw ourselves turn to shit and come back from it. And maybe our generation and the next couple of generations don't want to do that again. So I appreciate you being here, my friend. Where do they follow you on Instagram?
Me too, man.
Good.
I'm on Instagram.
Vote
and,
DNA, or do you want
Facebook?
DNA's Lab.
It's Vote DNA. Okay. VOTE DNA will get you to everywhere. That's your access pass.
Great.
And then next week I'll be at my own home, and I'll have better internet, and I'll feel more comfortable, not so scared of the possible doll that might murder me.
Maybe that doll's putting bad juju on you, bro. That thing is fucking creepy, bro.
Put
Yeah.
juju on the juju.
Yeah, put that thing outside while you're there. I'm telling you, bro. Put it in the garage. Lock all the fucking doors. And fucking when the folks come home, put that thing back.
That's not helping my mental health. Dude, I love you, bro. Escabros, Twitch. Sid, that was some really deep shit. Alexandria, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
I'm gonna go be scared now.
Hang in there for a minute. I'm gonna end the stream and we'll talk for a minute. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for being here.